Hello my friends, this is Gladys again with you, coming to trying to finalize the last steps for the tag accordion box. And as we left off on number 3, we had adhere all 5 pieces of the chipboard to our designer paper or pattern paper, so they're nice and dry. I did this last night, and it's pretty well, cemented there. What we're going to do now is I put a strip of I think it's an inch wide tape, and this is that score tape, and you can tear it by hands. That's the reason why I really like it. So I went all around it, and even though we don't have enough paper here on the edge, I went over this. It doesn't really matter, it's just extra glue, and that it's not going to affect anything. Now the other thing that I'm going to do is something that I've kind of learned after making several of this ones, not just this type of box, but anytime I was going to fold a paper that was attached to a piece of hard or heavier chipboard, is that if you put a little bit of wet glue in between that chipboard and the paper, it seems like the paper seems to stay there a little longer, and there's less chance of it to break down as you do the fold. So what I'm going to do, we have a little bit over the perimeter here, a little bit of exposed paper, here at the ends, and then just in between them, I am just going to wet it with the same brush that we used yesterday, and same glue, this tacky glue, and I'm just going to put a little bit there, just enough for me to say yes, that had some humidity in there, and it seems like it'll stay better, or it will prevent it from breaking. Now I've also worked with other papers, and no matter what you do, they're gonna break. I don't think this paper is that one of them. I know the thicker the paper, even though those papers look really nice and they're usually the better quality, those are the ones that break the most, to be honest. This one, I haven't had any problems with it yet, okay? And I can tell you that it's one brand. I've had all kinds, and they all surprise me from time to time. So, alright, so I added the glue around it over the exposed areas that I did not have any of the score tape. Now I'm going to just kind of bend it this way, and I just put a little bit of glue there. Not much. It's just enough for you to, create a little bit of humidity in there, and it's going to help it to become very firm, so it's kind of a a double whammy there. Alright, I have about 10 minutes before I gotta go and pick up my son from the school bus, but I thought, well, let's try to get some of these things in. Alright, I'm gonna put my brush in the water, save my glue, and I always just put it in plastic so it doesn't it doesn't dry up on me and then I have to throw it away. Alright, so here we are. At this point I am going to start taking the tape off. And don't worry if you have extra tape, it doesn't really make any, it's not going to hurt anything. Alright, so let me alright, so I am going to do a little bit of a cut in the corners, not tremendous amount, but just enough for me to lift or leave a little bit of a corner so I can tuck it in. So I'm going to start doing those. So it's like a little snip, on all corners. You don't want to get too much. You want to give enough room so you can cover that corner too. Let me turn this around here. There we go. Alright, and prior to me have use or put the wet glue or the tape, once I had adhere the chipboard pieces to my designer paper, I had worked with the paper doing this, just kind of breaking it or kind of training the paper to kind of stay in the direction that we're going to keep it. I did both ways. Remember, we're not going to get confused because we have them all labeled, which is a really good thing. And if we didn't have that, well, that would be a different story. And then for this one, you're going to do the same thing. And these ones are pretty easy because right now the paper is kind of, you know, a little bit wet, so it's okay. And if one is fighting you a little bit, don't push it. Just let it be. All right. You just want to kind of start training them, pretty much. Okay, so we are really good. Now we're going to start just literally start bringing things up. And what I like to use is my, I have this bone folder in particular that I have, I think, all brands. I like them all. Let's see, where are we at in time? We're good in time. Alright, so I use this one right here. I think it's from Ranger. It's an older model, and I'm not even sure if they still make it. But I use this puppy a lot because I do a lot of hinging, and this is one that helps me to kind of do this right here that you're seeing, and it gives you a really nice, crisp, and sharp edge, and I like that. So, all right. Don't worry if you cause a little, you happen to create a little bubble in here. We can do slits inside, and nobody is ever going to see it. Okay. Same thing again. I'm going to use any bone folder can work for it. I just find that this one works really well just because it has this very rounded and very thin edge. Anyhow, so that's you know, the tool of my preference for this particular work that I'm doing. And if you can see how nice it crispens, look at that. I hope you can see that. But it's it really puts them together, and it allows you to have a really nice, crisp and clean edge. All right, and you don't have to do a lot of pulling with your hands because, yeah, I used to do that, and I'm pretty much 100% of the time I would do a tear on the paper, and I don't want to have that. You know, I can create some slits in here to, you know, give way for the movement, but not a tear. That's a different thing. All right, so this is the way it looks. So see how nice, and it's pretty nice and pretty clean. You know, pretty straight. I like it. And I usually do this too on top of it. It's almost like creating a little highway on top. I like to see the edges square. It gives you a product that it looks just really professional, and it doesn't have the homemade, you know, feel to it. Not that that's bad, but you know what I'm talking about. Alright, so now we're going to work with the tops. And this cornice, remember, we left just enough for me to, let me see if you can, I'm going to try to zoom in so you can see this. I left enough of this corner so I can tuck it in behind it, like this. And then be able to lift this up. Oh, I'm out of frame there. There you go, right there. See how nice it looks? And all I have to do is just close it in, because it's already there, and you have a nice, perfect edge, always. There is a tool that you can have to do that, and I do use it for other things. This chipboard, which is the heaviest they have, is by Basil. I know it so well that I pretty much just about always I can kind of tell how far I can go on it, and you know, I work with it so much. So okay, same thing, we're doing this thing. I hope you can see that right there. See how nice of an edge you got, and you have a nice corner without any bumps and without any it's really clean. You still don't, there's no chipboard showing, but at the same time you don't have a big old, you know, bulk in there. So let me watch my time because I don't want to go over and then start it again. Oh, I think we are out. So all right, let me talk to you in a little bit. Bye.